All right, so now let's look at the top bar section. So if you see there's like a little bar going across the top. So let's go ahead and cover some of the main elements from this bar. So let's start on the right side of this bar, and the first thing I want you to look at is this MIDI icon here. When that is activated in yellow, that means we are activating our MIDI keyboard. So if you were to have a MIDI keyboard at home, you can plug it in to your computer, and if you have this selected, you will be able to play that MIDI keyboard and it will record your MIDI notes into your MIDI track. We can add a MIDI track by right-clicking on the tracks and selecting Insert MIDI Track. Then we can arm the MIDI track to record. Make sure the MIDI icon is activated. Then if we were to hit the record button, it would record MIDI notes from your MIDI keyboard to this MIDI track we have just set up to record. Alright, so let's go ahead and delete this one since we don't need it. Next thing to look at is our loop brace. So icon. So we already mentioned this a little bit. So when this is activated, this will loop the section within our loop brace. Alright, so the little brackets next to it, what they are for recording. So if you want to only record a section within your loop brace, you can activate those and it'll only record within that section. So let me show you what that does. I'm going to right click, insert a new track. I'm going to arm it to record, and I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to turn this off for now so I can explain it later. And then I am going to start my recording. Yeah, as soon as I hit the end of my loop brace, it stopped recording because we activated the loop brackets. So we're going to go ahead and deactivate those, and we're going to delete this audio number 3 because we do not need it right now. And let's keep going to the left of this top bar. You see a couple numbers. This just tells you where your loop brace is positioned. So if we position it to start at the 4th bar, we see the 4th bar of the first beat. And if we go to the next one, now we're on the 4th bar of the 2nd beat. And we can go to the 5th bar of the 3rd beat. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to move this bracket back to the start of the 5. Alright, and then we have our record button. Again, once you have a track or MIDI, once you have a MIDI or audio track set to record, you can hit on the record button and it will record along that track. Yeah, we have our play and our stop, and these numbers here tell us where our start line is or where our play line is. So we can have it, if it's on bar number 3, we see bar number 3. If it's on bar number 3 but the 2nd beat, we can see it, bar number 3, 2nd beat, and so forth. And this line here, this icon here right next to this number, these numbers, if you activate it, what it does is it follows your play line wherever it goes. So if I hit spacebar to play, you can see my Ableton Live screen moving along with this play line. But if I deactivate it, the Ableton Live screen is no longer moving with the play line, but the play line is still moving. And then if we get to the end, then you would stop seeing the play line. So sometimes this is a good thing to use if you want to keep seeing your play line all the way as you're playing it. Alright, let's keep moving on. So we've mentioned measures, we mentioned bars, we mentioned beats, and this thing here is called a metronome. So whenever you're recording, whether it be drums or if you're recording a melody on a MIDI keyboard, if you activate your metronome, you will start hearing a sound that is to the beat of whatever your song tempo is. And we'll get to the tempo in a second, but let's just hear what it sounds like. Doing is it's counting off the beats in each bar so that when you are playing a MIDI keyboard or if you're playing a drum pad, you can stay to the beat of the song. So you can write to the beat of the song. That's what this is for. And also when we hit the record button, we can have the record button delayed a little bit, so we can have like a little count off. So I'm going to deactivate the metronome. Then I'm going to go here to this little down arrow, and I'm going to select the count in to 1 bar. So now when I hit the record button, it's going to count me off 1 full bar before it starts recording. This is to get whoever's recording ready for the recording, so they can count in their head before the recording actually starts. So let's hear what that sounds like. But we did not arm a track to record, so let's go ahead and turn track number 2 and set it up to record. Let's try it again. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the next one it starts recording. 1, 2, 3, 4, record. So that's what that is for. And you can have both the metronome and the countdown at the same time, so that would be like this. Our metronome counted off a bar before recording, but then as it was recording, it kept playing the metronome to again keep you on beat. And you can change your metronome to 1 bar, from 1 bar to 4 bars or 2 bars. You can also change the sound of your metronome. Okay, so now let's take a look at the measure. So most popular music is written in a 4/4 measure. What that means is that there is 4 beats per every measure, or 4 beats per every bar. You can change this to 3 beats per bar, so see 1, 2, 3, go down to 2 or 1, but most music is in the 4/4 measure. This here controls the tempo of our song. So right now our song is set to 120 beats per minute, or BPM. What BPM measures is the amount of beats that a song plays per minute. So if we were to play this beat that we have here for a full minute, we would count 120 beats. And we can lower the BPM of our project by clicking, holding, and then dragging our mouse down. See, the numbers go lower, it'll make our track slower. And if I speed it up, it'll make our track go faster. You can speed it up by clicking on this and then dragging it. So let's go back to our 120 mark. And what you're actually doing when you turn up the BPM is you're increasing time. So if you look down here at these numbers, we have a timeline. We have 0 would be somewhere over here. Then we have 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and so forth. So notice what happens to my timeline when I raise the tempo of my track. The numbers get smaller because essentially we're playing more music in less amount of time because our beat is going faster. And if I set it lower, our timeline is getting slower because we're playing our beat at a slower tempo, so it's taking longer to get to, say, the 50 seconds. Okay, so we're going to go back up to 120.